Hey everybody, Mark Hart here from Memphis Investment Properties, and I am pleased to introduce this interview that we're going to have with one of our top current clients, Zack Taylor. Zack, welcome. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, I'm excellent. Wish I was golfing with you, that's for sure.
I wish I was golfing today too, but not today.
Exactly. So, Zack, let's just dive right into it. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about yourself? Your background, your career.
Sure. So I'm 46 years old. Um, I- I'm, I'm married. I've got two daughters, ages 10 and 12. Been married for about 16 years. Um, I'm in construction sales. My wife's a pharmaceutical rep, so she's in sales as well. Uh, just a little history. I graduated UC Santa Barbara in 1998 and moved to San Francisco after that. Uh, Lived there for about 4 or 5 years. That's where I met my wife. And once we got engaged, we decided we needed to leave the city. Otherwise, we'd
Mhm.
never own anything there.
Right.
So now we've been in Sacramento since 2003, 2004.
Wow. So then how long have you been a real estate investor?
Only about, well, we moved to Sacramento to buy a house. So we bought a house around 2003, 2004. We bought our first property then. Uh, Bought our second property about 3 years ago. Really wasn't planning on being a real estate investor or owning rental property. Um, but that's how we kind of fell into it when we bought our second home. I was in a position where I didn't have to sell my first home.
Hmm.
Uh, so even though that was my plan, uh, but my wife actually convinced me that we should maybe hold on to that home and rent it out. And I agreed to it. That was about 3.5 years ago that we rented out the first home that we bought. And again, we own, at that point we own two homes in Sacramento, our primary and one rental.
Yeah. And that's one of the best ways to actually, get your very first rental property, right? Is because you can get a significantly better loan when you actually live in the property there. And then we see a lot of people moving out and then just holding on to it and turning it as a rental. Just kind of fell into your lap, sounds like.
It did. You know, I told my wife as long as the rent would cover the costs and I wasn't, at the rental on a Sunday afternoon doing some repair when I should be watching the 49er game,
Right. Right.
I agreed to it. And we happened to get the rent that we needed. I was a little surprised. And, rent here in California is pretty high. And the tenants that we got, they happen to be friends of ours now. So they're great tenants. We've never had an issue. Um, so it was after about 6 months of renting out that home that I was kind of like this rental real estate investing is not such a bad idea. And how could I buy more?
There you go. So then how many properties you up to now?
We own 12 rentals total.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. We bought, let's see, 2019, I bought three. I bought seven in 2020 and one so far this year, and plan on buying about six more this year if I can.
Yeah, we try to get you on this week, but they're going
I know.
fast. We're trying, that's for sure.
You're going like,
Exactly. I love it. So I guess what in terms of the actual, real estate and the properties that you like to move forward with, how do you decide between, one property and another, whether that's a, 3 bedroom, 1 bath C class home or a 3 bedroom, 2 bath A class or meeting in the middle with a B? I guess what's your thought process on that?
from the beginning, and I kind of, in talking with you, I kind of came to this criteria, but everything I bought's been 3 bedroom, 2 bath, mainly in the B range. Own a couple of A properties. I haven't really bought anything that I think is considered a C property, that I recall. A few different areas of Memphis that I like, that I lean toward. Um, so that's pretty much it, that criteria. But as you know, I mean, I think the last few that I've bought, I've just kind of leaned on your opinion as well. I mean, I think the last two I bought, I think I was on the golf course when I bought them.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think
that's my favorite.
I had about 5 minutes to really talk about it. So at this point, you kind of know what I want, and so I lean on your opinion, and it's
Yeah.
worked out.
Yeah, that I mean, sounds like you've played a good round of golf every time you've pulled the trigger on the course.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. Because yeah, with Zach, what we talked about in the beginning, was he didn't need his cash flow and his passive income today, right? He was trying to build that financial independence, for the future. And the goal was to buy less properties in better neighborhoods. Hence, we were able to get him those B plus, A type properties that have a little bit better chance for appreciation, right? As well as cash flow, because then in just a couple of years, Zach will be able to double the size of his portfolio if he wants by doing a cash out refinance, right? Or, doing 1031 exchanges, right? He's got a lot of options, which is good. So then in terms of the market, I guess what do you like about Memphis?
You know, my wife and I went out there. I think when we met you the first time, when we bought our first property, hung out in Memphis for a few days. So I like the town. I like the area. It seems like it's kind of an up and coming city. It kind of reminds. I'm thinking it might be like the next Austin, Texas, or the next Denver, Colorado, or even Nashville, Tennessee. I think there's a lot of upside there. I like the economics of the town. Um, Very blue collar town. I know that, what is it, 40 to 50% of the population in Tennessee are renters.
Mm-hmm.
So never had a problem with vacancy. FedEx is there. Amazon's got a big presence there. St. Jude's Hospital's got a big presence there. What is it? Second largest cargo airport in the world is there.
You got it right.
Big time distribution going through there. I mean, so I see a lot of economic future for Memphis, as well as a younger white collar workforce as well coming up. People that younger people looking to rent homes. I don't think we've ever had a problem with the vacancy in the 2.5 years, and in all the properties that I have, I don't think I've ever had a vacancy. I know I had one, and I think we had it leased out in 3 days, 3 or 4 days after that. So just really solid. And for me, I was really looking for the passive income side of it. But what properties in Memphis went up like 12% last year.
Exactly 12%. You got it.
So that's just kind of icing on the cake for me at this point. So yeah, I'm in at this point.
Yeah, no, that was very thorough. You could do my job. That was you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, our rents went up, 5% last year, and appreciation 12%. But here the goal is cash flow number one, right? You got to always make sure you're positive cash flow, positive expenses, but then all the appreciation is just a cherry on top. But now that that's actually happening and consistently happening, that's why we talk about it more and more. It's because the cherry is there, and that's what that'll really help you scale in the long run. So then, so final question here is just how has your overall experience been with Memphis Investment Properties and Reedy and Company?
It's been great. I mean, everything that I was told, in our initial conversations has pretty much come true. I mean, there's been very little deviation from the plan. When I bought my first home there, I was kind of putting myself out there. I mean, when I came in and told my wife, "Hey, we're going to buy a property in Tennessee," she was like, "You're out of your flipping mind." I mean,
Right. And
I was like, "Well, so I'm just glad it worked out, or I would never hear the end of it."
right. Yeah, she would have been really mad at you. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Good.
the first one, it went well, and I think we bought the second one maybe 6 months after the first.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, I just kind of had proof of concept, like this is going to work. Let's keep moving forward. And the properties are affordable in Tennessee. To start buying rental property here in California, it's almost not possible, at least for somebody in my financial position.
Right.
The market's so overpriced. So Tennessee has worked out really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, that means the absolute world. And we definitely recommend everything you just did in terms of just try with one property, and just let us prove ourselves to you essentially, and to see if, we're a good fit for each other. And that's exactly what you did over about 6 months, and then from there, if it's something that, you want to continue to doing, you can slowly scale. And now it's at the point to where you just call me at the golf course and say, Mark, pick, a favorite one. And that's exactly, it doesn't get much better than that.
That's true. The whole process has been very, A to Z covered. Um, not a whole lot of work on, it's very turnkey. Not a whole lot of work on my end. Just, a lot of trust and confidence in Memphis Invest in MIP, and I've been completely happy at this point.
Hey, well, that means the world. So that's it for the questions. Is there anything else you kind of want to share? Any advice, any tips?
Not off the top of my head.
Hey, no worries. Well, appreciate you so much. I mean, it's been a pleasure knowing you for the last couple of years, and now I just need to meet up and go golfing together. That's the
Oh,
next
that
step.
sounds good, man.
All right. Well,
I
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much, Zach. Really appreciate you, and have a great day.
All right. You too, Mark. Take care.
All right.